film cameras. Me going back to home developing film in any format is just not going to happen because digital rules. It's been over 35 years since I last used my Hasselblad 120 film camera, so though I hate to do it, it seems like it's time to sell the Hassie. Well, first I had to make sure this thing still worked. Of course it would, it's a tank. I bought a couple rolls of 120 Tri-X and familiarized myself shooting with the Hasselblad. But what subjects are worthy of the respect this legendary camera demands? I am not just going outside and wasting a roll on some boring landscape. I know, warbirds. Holloman Air Force Base was having an air show. Holloman is down south from my house near the Texas border, a 3-hour drive. But it should be a hot time on the flight line. Perfect. Well, so here I am in the first quarter of the 21st century, back to learning old tricks with a 20th century relic. The big issue, of course, is I don't process my own film anymore. There are custom labs, but negatives must then be converted into digital computer-friendly files. I would need a negative scanner. Well, that problem would have to wait. No way I'm going to spend a few $100 on a 120 medium format scanner. I don't get too many chances to shoot pictures of old warbirds. The thing is, when you reach a certain milestone, desire tends to ignore reality. This walking along a large airport flight line in hot weather can do damage, as there's just no place to sit down and rest. But plenty was going on at the airfield, and my main interest was still finding them old World War II warbirds. But where were they? The heat, my stamina, the search, all combined to catch the attention of the Geezer Patrol, young medical staff wearing red t-shirts that were keeping a lookout in the crowd for us suffering geezers. Well, yeah, those Air Force Thunderbird pilots put on a great show. But for me, walking around in search of those propeller planes in that heat was starting to drag me down. Well, the guys in the red medical t-shirts saw that I was in a little trouble, so they got me into a golf cart and took me over to the medical hangar where they gave me some water to drink and calmed me down. I sat there and rested for a while, and finally, when I was ready to leave, they let me go. I took a few pictures with the Nikon, these color shots, and then when I was outside, I found the golf cart guy, and we went together. He drove me down to where the warbirds actually were. Well, I didn't get the shot I was after. There were only two World War II era warbirds on hand, an F-6F Hellcat and a B-25. Oh, and there was also a Douglas DC-3 cargo plane there. But people were climbing all over the Hellcat, and that was not the shot I wanted. When I got home, I built myself this copy stand. The plan was to get the developed negatives back from the lab and copy them with the Nikon D810. I learned of a Homeboy workaround on YouTube. I got myself a negative holder, and the light source is a small LCD viewer. I built this copy stand and used my great micro Nikkor 55mm lens to copy the 120 negatives using my Nikon D810. Now I can sit down at my desk and use my micro Nikkor 55mm lens to transfer a negative into a digital file. I have used ViewScan software for many years with my Nikon 35mm scanner. I transferred the scanned negatives into the computer, and ViewScan automatically changes that file into a positive. I also found out that Control I in Photoshop Elements does the same thing. At this point, the 50mm f4 Distagon has been my favorite Hasselblad go-to lens. Its wide-angle view is equivalent to 28mm in 35, and the depth of field range is perfect for getting close and isolating a subject. Plus, I added an orange filter. So this is the 16, which I'll pull the slide out here, and you can see it takes a rectangular picture, which is quite nice. The camera is set at ISO 100, and I shoot the pictures as TIFF files for maximum resolution. My plan for the Hassie was just to shoot black and white, and I had a selection of 67mm size filters, yellow, green, orange, and red, and I was going to use them with each of my three Hassie lenses as needed. I have the adapter rings for 67mm. However, I have a problem with this 50mm Distagon, and it has to do with attaching filters. For some reason, Victor Hasselblad designed the front of this C-type 50mm lens barrel without standard size filter threads. The big peeve is the front retaining ring that's screwed into the 50mm. You remove it to drop in the custom Hasselblad Series 8 63mm filters, and they get held in place by that ring. Good luck in finding anything in 63mm. The outer retaining ring is close, but it is not 67mm. Maybe it is 63mm. I don't know. There are no affordable 63mm filters out there. Forcing a 67mm filter to screw into that outer ring can be done, but it takes a serious effort and it's a very risky thing. Doable, but not advisable. You can easily cross-thread the threads and ruin the lens. Well, for some reason my used lens came without a data ring indicating a serial number, so I have no idea when Hasselblad built it, and also no bayonet mount. It supposedly only accepted the Hassi 63mm drop-in filters, which are held in place by a retaining ring.
It just won't go on.
Well, I finally found a sweet spot for these threads and was able to screw this filter all the way on. Well, anyway, needless to say, the Hasselblad is still a fun camera to use, and it does force you to pick your choices very carefully with the lenses and the subject matter. Well, as far as I'm concerned, capturing images is really what it's all about. And so these cameras make the search into a very satisfying way to kill a day. And I guess it's an addiction, but learning how to control the tools seems to me to be a great deal of fun.